Halo 2 has crossed its 20th anniversary, and another game has just hit its 10th. The Master Chief Collection is now old enough to bug its parents for Robux. But scarier than that, I just turned 15 when this game came out, and now I'm 25 with lower back pain, a drinking problem, and a mortgage. 2 of those things are true, can you guess which? What started off as a bastardized version of the original 3 Halo games, and Halo 4, has done a complete 180, adding in ODST, Reach, getting a PC release, crossplay, mostly, a custom games browser, modding tools, some amazing quality of life features, and so much more. I won't lie when I say that I hated the MCC when it came out. Its broken launch made me regret saving up months worth of pocket money for a glorified VHS player. But now, I love it.
I love it! I'm sitting here, I'm just itching. I'm itching to do it again.
Playing customs with friends, doing legendary run-throughs, or getting drenched in my own sweat after a few games of Halo 3 Ranked. But it still feels like there's something missing, like a level of polish that just isn't quite there yet. From smaller things like graphical and audio differences between the original games and their MCC ports that only the nerdiest of nerds pick up on, to more glaring issues like the ongoing cheating problem, among other things, which we'll get to, don't you worry. There's still room for the MCC to be improved. So, a little over 10 years on, what are the chances of that happening? How is the MCC doing? And how are things looking for the game's future? Look, it could be worse. It could be worse. Hello there guys, gals, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leipalarden, and you'd think, right? You'd think for the MCC's 10th anniversary, 343 Industry... I caught myself lacking there, sorry. Halo Studios will be rolling out an event or an update that celebrates a decade of the MCC and aims to fix some of its remaining issues. After months of no new content, not much of any updates in general, actually, and as the studio continues to prop up Halo Infinite atop a bed of overpriced microtransactions... You think I'm paying $30 to feel a bit of that childhood nostalgia again? Nah, you ain't getting me this time, you fucker. You'd think there would be some love, or anything, for the game that now represents the collective childhood of, 2 generations of gamers now? I also think it's crazy that Infinite got more hype and time dedicated to it for Halo 2's 20th anniversary than the game that actually has it. Aside from the fantastic Halo 2 E3 demo release and Alpha Moon, courtesy of the amazing Digsite team, seriously, I love those folks, they're the real MVPs, there's been radio silence. I spent half my day spelunking through the Twitter timelines of various Halo devs, hoping for a crumb of celebration. And what did I find? A GIF. That was it. The MCC's 10th anniversary came and went faster than a fart in the wind. Sure, there were hints, tiny breadcrumbs, like the celebrating 10 years of the MCC message tucked away in the Halo Studios' New Dawn announcement video. But where's the real celebration? It's frustratingly vague, and it raises a bigger question. Is this radio silence regarding the MCC just an oversight? Or is it a sign of something deeper going on with the game and how it's being handled? Let's dig into why this matters, and why it's about more than just an anniversary. When Microsoft pulled the plug on the Xbox 360 Halo game servers, probably because the electricity bill was too high or something, I don't know, MCC became the go-to platform for playing the original Halo games online modes without needing a PhD in tech wizardry. It's not just a convenient hub for jumping between these classics, it's also an important archival project, preserving these beloved games and keeping them playable now that the original servers have been glassed. For us classic Halo boomers who can't handle the sight of our favourite green man running a little too fast,
You can't keep getting away with it!
the MCC represents something precious. It's the last bastion of what Halo was, as the series charts a new course that, let's be real, doesn't resonate with everyone. Not everyone who grew up with Bungie's Halo is going to vibe with Halo 5, Infinite, or whatever Halo Studios cooks up next. And that's okay. Similarly, fans of Infinite's faster, flashier gameplay might not appreciate the slower, more methodical pace of classic Halo. And that's fine too. I mean, you're missing out on some great games, but that's fine too. As the series evolves and new players join the fold, there is going to be a divide between those who prefer the old and those who embrace the new. But here's the thing. Those new fans deserve the chance to experience the classics, to understand the foundation of what made Halo special in the first place. There's even a sweet spot of fans who love both styles, and that's where MCC and Infinite, or whatever the next project is, can shine. These aren't competitors, they're complementary pillars of the Halo franchise, yet it feels like Halo Studios sees them as rivals, worried that MCC might siphon players from Infinite or whatever project comes next. MCC and Infinite can coexist, even thrive, with the right balance of attention and updates, assuming they have enough hands on deck to manage both. I feel as though the MCC could be fairly low maintenance as well, because most of what the community wanted out of the game is there already, but that doesn't mean there isn't room for more content that people would be frothing at the bit to try. As much as it's an archival piece of game preservation, like I mentioned earlier, it's got so much untapped potential that could continue to grow and offer new ways to play the classic Halo experiences that we all know and love. Take the Gearbox port of Halo CE, for example. It recently got a mod enabling VR, something Halo fans have dreamed of since VR became mainstream. Now here's the kicker. In 2021, 343 Industries hired Nibre, the brilliant mind behind the acclaimed VR mod for Alien Isolation. He was even working on a VR mod for MCC called Reclaimer VR. Now, as far as I know, he's still part of the MCC team as an engineer. So, where's the official VR support for MCC? The talent is right there, and Nibre's been with the team for years. That alone feels like reason enough to greenlight an official MCC VR release, especially now when Halo VR mods are exploding in popularity on YouTube, and the Halo VR mod for contractors is gaining serious traction. Just imagine if Halo VR had been a key feature for MCC's 10th anniversary. Backed by Microsoft's full marketing power, it would have been monumental, and a perfect way to celebrate the milestone and show that there's still love for the classic Halo games. There are plenty of other features that would make MCC instantly more appealing to new players and would bring back old ones who have left it behind. To list off a few, Halo 3 and ODST are currently the only campaigns to have crossplay between PC and Xbox. You'd think that would be something available for all the campaigns in MCC, as the multiplayer is entirely crossplay, but evidently not. There's no kind of pre-game lobby to talk to players, and there's no kind of proper partying up system either after the match has ended, which would go a long way in helping to speed up search times. I think a big part of the reason why there maybe is no partying up could be because of the MCC's hidden matchmaking rating, or MMR for short. Kind of like SBMM. That's the trigger word for Call of Duty players, and they'll be seeing red in a minute. It is nowhere near as cancerous as Infinite's MMR, but given the MCC's dwindling population, let's maybe focus on finding matches, not perfectly balancing them every time, especially in social modes. Save that sweaty shit for ranked. Rotational playlists, including community-driven content, could bring fresh life to MCC's match composer. Social playlists also need an overhaul to include new, fun modes and maps, while balancing party modes with features like friendly fire toggles. Most importantly though, you've got to move Invasion into social. It just makes no damn sense that it's in the competitive playlists. Increase the limit of custom maps and modes that each player can favorite in their file share. It's just not enough, especially if you're addicted to favoriting every interesting custom map and mode you come across. Like me, I have a problem. Get us an actual ping counter. Green to red bars are so 2007, just give us the goddamn numbers, Mason! So I can have something to point at when I'm playing like crap, and I can shift the blame to that instead. Legacy menu backgrounds. I think I speak for a lot of players when I say that the old Halo menus are timeless, and having to install a mod to get the OG Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST or Reach menu backgrounds is crazy when it could just be a built-in option in the game. On the topic of menus, I'd love a music player. The music on those menus was a big part of what made them so special. Admittedly, 343 kinda tried by having game-specific tracks play when you enter the menus for a certain title, but some of them aren't the same as the OGs. I vastly prefer the original music, call me biased, over the anniversary versions on the menus, so I'd love the option to only play those. If I want to sit for hours staring at Mombasa while heavy price paid plays like... God damn it, give me the option to do that. If I want to get pumped up before I go into every game and just hear Mjolnir mix all the damn time till my ears bleed, Give me that option too. There are all kinds of whacked out issues with keybinds in this game, like how they conflict with each other depending on whether you're playing the game normally or in Forge or Theatre, even for stuff on controller, like in CE, pressing the D-pad and thumbstick are both inputting movement and also allowing you to swap your grenades and turn on your flashlight. It's just really weird. HUD customizability. Let us tweak it or turn it off completely. There are still a few graphical bugs in each game, or in some cases just weird visual changes, the most irritating of which is the crazy amounts of lighting, bloom and reach. I honestly preferred the way the game looked without it, so I'd love the option to turn that off or on, or at least dial it back a fraction or two so it looks less like someone rubbed aloe vera on my monitor. Put in a server browser, like the customs browser, but for matchmaking that can also include ranked modes. Beyond fixes, I think players want new incentives to keep them engaged, such as rewards tied to gameplay, expanded Forge tools, and additional firefight and multiplayer maps in the rotation. Ideas like Steam Remote Play support, NVIDIA RTX Remix compatibility could modernize the MCC further and give those older games a new lease of life. And this one might come out of nowhere, but rumors have been circulating that Halo could potentially be making its way to PlayStation. Now, regardless of whether or not you like this idea, I think we can all agree that having some new players come on board might be kinda cool. As recently as November this year, Phil Spencer said that no Xbox titles are off limits when it comes to potential PlayStation releases in the future, including Halo. And what better way to introduce a whole new group of players than with a collection of its best, like the MCC. I'm just saying, the money's on the table, guys. Instead, what we're seeing is a situation where support for the MCC seems to have been quietly abandoned, so a lot of these ideas may never see the light of day. The current running theory is that after the community pushed back against the idea of microtransactions in the MCC with purchasable Spartan points, Microsoft decided the game was no longer profitable, pulling the plug on future updates. Remember when a game just being bought outright was considered enough of a revenue stream? I miss those days. Now, if Halo Studios themselves can't find the time to add new content to the game, I've got a suggestion. Come here, come real close, come real close, I want you guys to hear this. Bring Halo mods to Xbox! Need I say more? Steam Workshop support for the MCC has been nothing short of amazing. For someone like me who has done irreversible damage to their frontal lobe from witnessing what goes on in MCC social servers, ergo, my brain has gangrene, it is so much easier to hit the subscribe button on the Steam Workshop page than go through and manually move folders and files where they're supposed to go, or install a whack-ass, potentially malware-infused mod manager. Thunderstore has got to have my bank details now, that shit is dodgy as fuck. Next time you load into MCC and boom.
You looking for this?
And suddenly you're in a boss fight with a giant Halo 3 rat or the Gravemind on Sandtrap driving a bubble-barreled tank. Wow, God, lay off the beers, mate. A double-barreled tank. That level of convenience paired with just how damn fun these modes are adds infinite, no, not you, fuck off, amounts of replayability to the game. But you know what would make things even more replayable? 15 of your friends. Jokes, you play Halo in 2024. Of course you don't have 15 friends, that's fine. How about 3 friends? Damn, bruh, that bad? Okay, well, I'll be your friend, it's fine. So you don't have friends to invite to your modded lobbies, or they're on Xbox and can't install these mods. Guess they're screwed. But it doesn't have to be that way. Games like Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Arma Reforger have shown that integrating mod support into console ports can work, and work well. I'm no expert on how the back-end logistics of this would play out, but surely there's a way for Xbox to implement something similar for the MCC. Imagine a curated system where vetted mods are gradually rolled out and accessed via a dedicated mods option in the main menu, much like Fallout 4's implementation. Mods have been a lifeline for games like Fallout, Skyrim, Minecraft, GTA 5, and pretty much every Valve title, keeping them fresh, engaging, and thriving for years. They don't just prolong a game's life, they bring in new players, they foster creativity, and create entirely new ways to experience the game. Why not give the MCC community that same level of freedom and support? There's a whole sect of Halo players on the MCC, probably the majority of which who are on console. And it's crazy to me that the only update for the MCC for Halo 2's 20th was the E3 demo. And yet it's not playable on Xbox. The console that Halo was originally intended for. The console that I think most of Halo's player base still uses. That's just insane to me, that we've fallen so far from what this series once was, that not even Xbox is getting all the new Halo content now. It used to be the other way around, where PC players waited for like 83 years to finally get Halo 3 on PC. A quick browse through Halo's social channels and the comments will clearly show just how disappointed people are that the E3 demo isn't coming to Xbox. There are players who will never get to play Halo 4. But good, or Pimps at Sea, taking on a Scarab in a motherfucking pirate ship, or solid fan-made campaign missions like Mercury Rising, Crash Site, or reimaginings of cut levels and features, firefight on basically any map you can imagine against any faction you can imagine, rebalanced mods that range from ridiculous to this is low-key how I'm gonna play this game from now on because it's that good. Better yet, mods integrated into the customs browser. You click on a match, it auto-downloads the modded map, game type, or whatever madness awaits, and boom, you're 1v1ing in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria or wielding the bonkers arsenal of Cursed Halo. Right now though, the modding community doesn't exactly have much incentive to create multiplayer mods for the MCC. Why? Because getting people to play them is a logistical nightmare. Everyone needs the mod installed, then someone has to make a private custom lobby, then they need to join, and as permitting the MCC is playing nice and actually lets you join that person's lobby if the moon is in the right spot and your star sign aligns with Virgo or some shit, and then you still need enough players to actually make it worth the effort. All of whom, mind you, must have their mods downloaded correctly and ready. It's all kinds of annoying to set up, but throw mods into the customs browser and suddenly the doors fly open for all kinds of ridiculous, chaotic
awesomeness would ensue,
as Jason Jones would say. A place where the community's wildest dreams can thrive with minimal effort from the developers. Literally, they just give us the tools to do it and bring those mods to Xbox, then they can kick their feet up and watch the community do all the work and watch the player numbers skyrocket. It's a win for the devs, a win for the mod makers who desperately want more people to play their stuff, and it's a massive win for players who get more variety.
Hello again everyone, this is Leipalarden in post here. While wrapping up the edit for this video, some wild news dropped about the Digsite team and I couldn't not include it. So sorry for the detour, but trust me, this is going to be worth it.
Turns out, pretty much all the Digsite stuff the team was working on just got leaked on 4chan. Yep, all of it. Even some juicy bits from potential future projects, like old beta builds, pieces of Halo 3's cut levels, Guardian Forest and Forerunner City.
This essentially blows up any chance of these assets being officially added to the MCC with a fucking J-damn bomb, because now they're out there for the community to Frankenstein together.
And here's where it gets juicier. Around the same time, a lot of the Digsite team, people like Neo T. Iker, John, Sean T, and others who I all have an enormous amount of respect for, they up and quit. Why? Because they weren't getting paid. Hired by Microsoft, the biggest, I've got to stress that, the biggest tech company in the world, to work on Halo, one of its flagship franchises, and they weren't getting paid. These people dove headfirst into an old, very technically tricky engine, unearthed lost treasures of Halo content, remastered it, and made it playable for the community for next to nothing. And Microsoft's big plan? Let them keep doing it for free. Sorry, but a love of the game only gets you so far, and it sure as hell doesn't pay the bills.
Hidden Xperia and Halo VFX nailed this on Twitter, so let me paraphrase. It is absolutely batshit insane that Microsoft and Halo Studios are using the Digsite team's work to market the MCC, and somehow they still can't pony up to pay these folks.
Oh, but they can crank out overpriced microtransactions and Infinite raking in cash hand over fist, but priorities, right? And this isn't even an isolated thing. Forgers don't get paid to have their maps added to Infinite's matchmaking. Modders sure as hell aren't getting compensated, and yet they're the ones carrying Halo's content output right now, aside from those shitty little operations that we're getting every 4 months or so in Halo Infinite. I still remember when Crash Site dropped during one of Infinite's lowest points. It was basically the only good news Halo fans had to hold on to at that time. And how are these talented people rewarded? By getting completely shafted. Fucking shameful. Whether the blame falls more on Halo Studios or Microsoft, regardless, this is a terrible look for Halo Studios right out of the gate after rebranding from 343 Industries. If this is the kind of precedent they're setting, and this is how they're starting, God help us for what's to come. Honestly, I hope this story blows up in Microsoft's face and they're forced to compensate the Digsite members who walked away. They deserve so much better. This whole mess is just embarrassing.
Anyway, back to slightly more optimistic and naive Leipalarden, who didn't know this hurricane of piss was coming yet.
But and it's a massive but, unfortunately. It'd give Cat's Dump Truck a run for its money. Instead of embracing that potential, it feels like the game is being left to stagnate. And with that, there are real concerns that if the right issues aren't being addressed, MCC could eventually become a shell of what it was meant to be. One of the biggest threats to its continued playability?
What is it? More brutes?
Worse.
Cheaters, hackers, whatever you want to call them, they're a big reason why I haven't played MCC multiplayer in a while. Living in Australia, I'm in the Oceanic region, I often get bundled into matches with people from a certain country, I'm not saying where. The cheating problem has been quietly swept under the rug, with the official comment from a 343 dev being,
"Hey guys, yeah, we know this sucks, but we're gonna have some meetings and talk about this some more, and maybe do something, but only if it's feasible. This game doesn't make us money anymore, so we're not too keen to do it."
Hold up. Surely fixing a product that people paid for is feasible though, right? So a big chunk of it doesn't suddenly become unplayable. Knowingly selling us a faulty product, I'm pretty sure that might go against some consumer laws. I don't know what the consumer laws are like in the US, but here in the land down under, the first consumer guarantee is that when you buy products and services, they come with automatic assurances that they will work and do what you asked for. And I sure as hell didn't ask for the MCC to dox me and leak my IP address. And it's not like cheaters are using an aimbot or rapid firing. They are doing that, but they're also doing much worse. They're flying around at Mach fuck speed while thundercutting the enemy team with miscellaneous forge objects or a barrage of rockets, remotely controlling players in-game and banning them on the spot like it's that story arc from Arby and the Chief where they can just kick people out of a lobby by shooting them in-game. Hackers have found a way to exploit the system by spoofing other players' gamer tags. They can join lobbies, enable cheats, and appear under someone else's name. As a result, any reports made against the hacker are directed to the innocent player whose gamer tag has been spoofed, effectively putting their account at risk while the real culprit gets away. You've got folks trying to sell cheats in game chat, and worst of all, they're not just cheating in matchmaking. Nah, that wouldn't be scummy enough. It's happening in custom games as well, which is just a whole other subterranean level of low. Have you fuckers got nothing better to do? Supposedly the developers are quietly addressing these issues, banning cheaters' Steam licenses for the MCC, and improving response times to player reports. However, without any official communication from Halo Studios or efforts to make this information more widely known, players are remaining skeptical, understandably. The lack of transparency leaves many hesitant to play the MCC, fearing their next match could be ruined, or worse, it could be their last because their account gets unfairly banned through no fault of their own. I don't want to fearmonger too much here and say the MCC is unplayable, because it's not, but without some more work from the devs to quell these nefarious cunts ruining it for everyone else, it won't be long until the online component of the MCC does start going down the path of becoming unplayable. Pierre Hintze, the current head of Halo Studios, truly, I think, cemented his legacy with the incredible turnaround of the MCC. Before 2018, the collection was a shadow of what it should have been. It was the laughingstock of the industry, it was buggy, unstable, and felt like the embodiment of just how low the Xbox brand had fallen during the 8th console generation, and it was a sore reminder of that. Yet despite the immense pressure to focus entirely on Halo Infinite, a small, dedicated team, led by Hintze, stayed behind to right the wrongs. Together they turned what was once 343's biggest mistake into one of its greatest achievements. Their efforts brought the MCC to the level of quality it deserved, making it a beloved staple for Halo fans. So part of me can't help but wonder, why can't the same be done now? The MCC is once again slipping into a state of disrepair, and it needs that same kind of love and care and attention to keep it alive for the fans who still cherish it. So to Pierre Hintze, who probably never watched this, but in case you do, please don't forget about the MCC. Abandoning it isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a disservice to Halo's legacy and its fans. This isn't just another game collection, this isn't just some half-assed remakes and rebundles all packaged together for $60. It's a love letter to a pivotal era of gaming, a cornerstone for a loyal fan base. The fans still playing MCC today, who I've had the pleasure of talking to, are the diehards. They're often the ones who have stood by Halo through thick and thin. Ignoring them by ceasing support for MCC doesn't just risk alienating some of your most loyal players, it's a slap in the face to those who have unknowingly carried this franchise on their backs. A lot of these are the people who flooded servers on launch day, who organised LAN parties, who lined up out the front of GameStop for midnight releases. They've been practicing their speedrunning strats, trying to better optimise them since 2004, and they're still exploring every tiny nook and cranny of this game in hopes of discovering something new that people didn't know about. To disregard them is to disregard the heart and soul of Halo's community itself. What's more, the interest in classic Halo hasn't waned. If anything, it's still thriving. Events like the Halo 2 20th Anniversary LAN and throwback HCS tournaments consistently draw massive attention, often surpassing modern Halo events in popularity. When people talk positively about Halo, they're almost always referencing the Bungie era of games that the MCC immortalizes. It's proof that this collection still has relevance, it still has value, and still has a passionate audience that believes in its potential. Halo Studios, you guys have just got to fucking do something with it. The Master Chief Collection isn't just a product in my eyes, it's a promise. A promise to the fans who've kept the flame alive, to the legacy that put Halo on the map, a reminder of why so many of us fell in love with this series in the first place, and to the new generations of players who deserve to experience these games at their best. To let that promise fade away would be a disservice to everything Halo stands for: determination, resilience, and the drive to finish the fight no matter the odds. Support for the MCC isn't just about patching bugs or adding content, it's about proving that Halo's legacy still matters, and that its best days hopefully aren't just behind us, they can be ahead of us too.
You're on.